Take a seat. Get comfortable. So I still remember one of the most frustrating driving experiences I've ever had in my life. I was in college at this time, and I had to make the drive from Chicago down to Springfield, Missouri. Now, I don't want to brag, but I did go to the Missouri State University. No, I know, try not to be too impressed. Very elite selective institution, only about 90% acceptance rate. But this is about an 8-hour drive, and this was the early 2000s, so there were no map apps yet. There were actually no apps. And so I had to log online to MapQuest and download the directions and print them out. I got any MapQuest people here, you know? Yeah, we go back. So I throw the MapQuest directions right there in the passenger seat, and I start doing the drive. And something just felt off. I couldn't even quite put my finger on it. It just felt different, and then there it was. There was the sign. Welcome to Indiana. I was in the wrong state. And see, guys, this is a full-blown emergency because nobody goes to Indiana on purpose. And again, my phone couldn't save me. This is the flip phone era. This is the Stone Ages. So I had to get out of my horse and buggy at a rest stop and actually look at maps on a wall and try and figure out what exits I had to take to get back into Missouri. And what was supposed to just be an 8-hour excursion turned into an almost 12-hour survival expedition through the Midwestern plains. And this is what is so frustrating. There are places you want to go. You are doing your absolute best to get there, and you still end up in the wrong spot. And that, my friends, is what we call life. Now follow me with this. Sometimes it's just really dumb stuff. Some of you guys, have you seen just like those videos of kids like running the wrong way on the sports field? You see videos like this? Let me tell you, if your own teammate has to tackle you, something is very wrong. Okay? Mean well, but just going the wrong way. There's actually a true story of a guy. He signed up for a half marathon. He took one wrong turn. This guy accidentally ran a full marathon. Now, I do not know how you accidentally run 26 miles. I don't see how you do that, but he did. It's little stuff. The DIY project looks nothing like Pinterest. For some of us guys in here, you can't get your hair to move the right direction. Sometimes your hair just moves away completely. That's a little too close to home for me. I'm sorry, guys. That one's for me. But it happens all the time. There's moments in your life where you end up in a place you did not want to go. Some of us, you spent years going through school, doing all the training, getting prepared, only to realize you hate the career that you're in. Some of us in here, you did not tell yourself when you were 18. You know what I aspire to do? To still be living with my parents in my 30s. You didn't say that. All of us in here, you spend years pouring into a relationship. Man, it's a son, it's a daughter, it's a friend, it's a spouse, but years go by, you start seeing the wrong signs. And that relationship ends up in a place that you never would have wanted it to go. Can we just real talk for a second? Come on, this is some of us in here. You didn't think you'd be in the back of that cop car that night, did you? No, you did not. I think of this term, midlife crisis. What's a midlife crisis? You get to a point in your life where you say, this is not where I wanted to be. Financially, with my career, with my relationships, we all have moments in life where we say, how did I get here? Like, where did I take a wrong turn? And then you wonder, can I get back on the road, or did I just miss the exit completely? And maybe that's just life, right? You win some, you lose some. Some people get good luck, some people get bad luck. Maybe it's just that simple, but I actually believe there's more going on. And I want to look at a couple passages in the Bible that I believe give us some perspective about our lives that we don't often see. So here's what it says, Jeremiah 29, this is actually God speaking. He says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. So what do we see here? God has plans. He has plans for your life. He says, I've got good plans. I've got a future that I want you to look forward to. Look at Proverbs 3. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. So it's not even just that God has plans, he's also got paths. So he doesn't want you just wandering around lost all throughout your life. One more here, Psalm 32. God says, I will guide you along the best pathway for your life. I will advise you and watch over you. So what is God saying in all these? He's saying, I know where you're supposed to go. I know the way. I've got some good plans. I've got some good paths for you, and I want to help you get there. That's God's heart for you. He wants to guide. He wants to make a way. But while that is the case, what do we so often do? We say, oh no, God, I'm good. I printed out some directions on MapQuest, all right? I know where I'm going, all right? And I kind of got a way I want to go. I got a thing I want to do. And isn't there something in all of us that just kind of says, I just kind of want to go my own way? You know, I spent some years doing youth ministry. So I was working with teenagers. And in this one youth group I was leading, a boy jumped into it. And he kind of got around some of the wrong kids, so his family's trying to help him get on the right path. So we brought him right in. And there was one particular night where, let's just say he made a bad decision. And he landed himself in juvie for a little while. So I still remember the first time I visited this guy. He's wearing the full orange jumpsuit. We're sitting in the room, and we had a moment together. We were like, dude, we are moving forward from this. We got this. You've got a great future. We lean in. It was a moment. And so he gets out, and then another event happened. Now, this event was so serious that I got called into court and had to testify under oath because of something this kid did. And so we went through that journey together, and then I ended up moving out here to Colorado, and he and I always stayed in touch because we were very close. But I still remember there was this one particular time where I just couldn't get a hold of the kid. I'm trying to text him, I'm trying to call him, I can't figure out how to find him. So I finally got so desperate, I jumped on Google and just searched his name. And one of the first Google search results was his mugshot. So he landed right in prison. Found a way to get a hold of him. We started doing letters. We did the calls. We stayed in touch. So he got through that. And then there was yet another moment after he was out of prison where I lost touch of him again. So I learned from the first time. I jumped right on Google and I searched his name again, and there it was. Another mugshot. Now here's what you have to know about this guy. I promise you this. He did not want to go to prison. That was the last place he ever wanted to end up in his life, but there was something inside of him that just kept going the wrong way. And it happens to every single one of us at some point in our lives. Now, there's something God said a long, long time ago. It was recorded by this guy named Jeremiah, who was a prophet at the time. And this is what God said. He said, my people have committed two sins. One, they have abandoned me, the spring of living water. And two, they have dug their own cisterns, broken cisterns that cannot hold water. So God is using some imagery here to try to prove a point. This is the ancient Middle East at the time. There were two main sources of water for people. So the first source was natural springs. This was the best source of water. This is the clean stuff, the clear stuff. This is what you wanted. And this is actually a video of an actual spring in Israel right here, just to give you an idea. So that's the good stuff right there, okay? That is the flowing water. And of course, if it's 2025, you can actually profit off these things and turn them into tourist attractions. So you can make some money off this. Now, the second source of water was cisterns. Now, that's just a fancy word for water tank, but what people would do at this time is they would dig these massive pits into rock, 20, 30 feet deep. These things could sometimes hold hundreds of thousands of gallons of water. And what they would do is then cover all these things with plaster to help hold the water in. And what would happen then is rainwater would drip into there. They would sometimes store extra water, and then they would have it available for a dry season or a drought. Now, something you need to know about cistern water, though, is it was nasty. You did not want to drink this stuff unless you absolutely had to. And even worse than that, many times the plaster for these cisterns would start to crack and break, and all the water would start to leak out. So all you're left with is just a giant empty hole. Now, this is what God is saying. He's saying there is a source of life and fulfillment and satisfaction available to you. Living water, he says. This is the thing that can really satisfy your soul. But God says, but you don't want to take a drink. He says, you're abandoning me. You're just going your own way. And he says, on top of that, you're building out your own cisterns with nasty, disgusting water in them. And your cisterns are all cracked and broken. They're not even holding water. So all you got left is just this big hole. It's leaking everywhere. And this is just the point being made. Moving away from God will always leave you empty. The further you get from God, the further you get from his good plans, his good purposes, the paths that he wants for your life. And sometimes this is a conscious decision. You say, I just want to go my own way. And some of us in here, you can pinpoint the time. You're like, oh, I know, Brian. Cancun 2013. Boy, do I remember that. Come on, some of us in here, you're like, yes, college, Sigma Chi. I sure do remember. Our 20s, sometimes just seasons in our lives. Some of us, your story is you actually had a bad church experience. Maybe even religion was used as a weapon against you. You made a conscious choice. You're like, I just need to move away from all this stuff. For a lot of us in here, though, it's not a conscious moment. It's a slow, undetectable drift in your life. You don't even notice this happening, but you just get busy. Life starts to happen, kids come around, there's money stuff, there's jobs, it's all going on, and you don't even notice, but your life is starting to leak. And so what happens in all these cases, what you end up with is just a big, empty hole. Now, sometime after God said these words, Jesus showed up on the scene. And he made a bold claim. Jesus said this, let anyone who is thirsty come to me and drink. Whoever believes in me, as scripture has said, rivers of living water will flow from within them. What is Jesus saying? He's saying, I have the water you need. He's saying, I am the water you need. He's saying, I have the one thing that will truly satisfy your soul, and it will overflow into your life. Now, since we are talking about water, I figure there's probably some people in here who are thirsty. So I actually brought some water myself. Here's some water right here. This is fresh Rocky Mountain water. This is the good stuff. This is real good, okay? That's gonna refresh you. Now, I thought I'd bring some other water too, because we're just talking about water, right? So I actually have some other water here. This is actually fresh water from today too. This is fresh water from a toilet. Now, this is not just any toilet. This is a men's bathroom toilet. And there may have been some things added for effect, I'll be honest, okay? And I know what some of you guys are thinking right now. You're like, Brian, what poor intern had to prepare this prop for you? And I want to show you guys, I do all my own stunts. Okay? Now, you need water to live. Some people are probably thirsty in here, so you want a drink? You need water. You look a little parched. No, just a sip. Oh yeah, you got your Owala, Stanley, whatever, okay. Come on guys, just take a sip. Just come on, one little sip. No, don't hold your monster drink at me. Who wants some water? Nobody wants to take even a sip of this water. And yet, if that's the case, why is it that this is the water that Christians so often offer the world? What do? Oh, I'm telling you, I have found living water. This is water that can truly change your life. But if we disagree politically, I hate you. God probably hates you too. Oh no, I'm telling you, this is the one thing that can refresh your soul. I found it. You gotta get some of this stuff. But hey, here's my social media rant on everything that's wrong with the world and how you're one of those things that's wrong with it. Oh no, this is it. This is the only water you will ever need again for the rest of your life. But this is what I think about your lifestyle. And if you don't get it together, God's not even gonna give you a sip. We tell the world that we have living water, and then we shove a toilet bowl in people's faces. Now, I don't want you guys to mishear me. There is a need for truth in this world. There are times when Christians have to take a stand. You gotta stand on what you believe. You gotta confront the culture at different times. But so often, the way we go about engaging people with God's truth makes it look like toilet water to them. And there are so many people who are dying of spiritual dehydration because they think the only thing the church has to offer them is this. Now, I can't speak for every church, but I can speak for this one. And New Hills actually has a mission. This is like our core grounding statement. This is the purpose of the whole church. Everything goes back to this single statement. It's actually very simple. What is the mission of New Hills? To lead people to life in Christ. That's the mission of New Hills. Now, why is that our mission? Well, that's because it's Jesus' mission. Jesus said this, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. What is Jesus saying? He's saying, I have living water. I want to give it to you. I want to give you the one thing that will actually satisfy your soul. And Jesus, you see, he's the source of life itself. So to connect yourself to Jesus is to actually connect yourself to life. And there are so many people here, you call New Hills home, you've tasted this water. You've had a taste. And you have experienced a joy in your life that you can't even explain. Some of us here, you have had an experience of hope that you didn't even know was possible. For a lot of us here, your life has been changed. And your life is still changing. And so Jesus says, for anyone who's had this water, rivers of living water will flow from within them. So what kind of water is someone getting when they're around you? No, really though, when someone gets around you, are they refreshed? Do they feel revitalized? Like, do they feel rejuvenated because they've been in your presence? There are so many stories that have come out of this church that make me so proud of the people of New Hills. There was a man who found his way to our church just this summer. He got invited by some friends who come here. And right after his first experience, he actually texted him a picture. It was this picture of the bag he got as a little gift on that day he came, but he attached a message to it. This is what the man said: I found myself a home. Something happened to me. I had to hold back my tears. I felt something come over my body that said, welcome home. That guy got the right water, because that's what living water does. There's another woman, she found me just the other week right here in the cafe. She said, Brian, I just had to tell you some of my story. She said, I stumbled my way into New Hills through just a little kids event happening last summer. And she's like, I decided just to keep coming back, and I got more connected. And she said, I never could have imagined that my life would be so transformed just in this last year. And what is so cool about this lady's story is just a few months ago, she got baptized herself right here at New Hills. And what's so funny is she told me, she's like, I wasn't even planning on getting baptized. I just knew God was telling me to do it that day. So special shout out to you, Jess. I love that story. But see, this is what living water does. It rejuvenates, it refreshes, it restores and satisfies the soul. Jesus said, that's why I came. So you could have life, living water, something that is really going to satisfy you. Now, while that's true, there's still times we go the wrong way. And all of us in here, we've drunk the wrong water. And there was actually one point in history where that was more true than probably any other time. You see, even though Jesus came to bring life, there were a lot of people who didn't like that. And there were even some bad people that manipulated the justice system at the time. And through a bogus trial, they were able to get Jesus a death sentence, and not just any death sentence. This was death by crucifixion, the most horrific way to die in the first century. And so there was Jesus nailed to a cross by the very people that he gave life to. And from that cross, Jesus breathed his last breath and was placed in a tomb. And that just rocked everybody because they were thinking, how does the guy who offers life die? Like, how does that even work? He couldn't even come through on his own promises. But you see, you know what they didn't know? You can't keep the source of life in the ground for very long. You can't stop living water, because 3 days later, Jesus came out of the grave, everybody. He is alive. He's risen from the dead. And you have to see, he did that for you. See, that was part of the plan the whole time. Jesus defeated death once and for all. Jesus died so you could live. Jesus gave his life so we could have new life. And this is why Jesus says, let anyone who is thirsty come to me and drink. Do you want the real thing? You want living water? Do you want God's good plans for your life? You want the best pathway? There's only one thing you need to do. It's very simple. If that's what you want, all you need to do is move toward Jesus. What did he say? He said, come to me. This is an open invitation. Jesus is saying, I've got the good stuff. It will overflow in your life. All you have to do is make the move. There's even this promise in the New Testament. It says, come near to God and he will come near to you. You know, I find it really funny because even reading a verse like that, I've noticed that there's a lot of people who start thinking, well, Brian, you don't know my story. Dude, I've been moving in the wrong direction for a long time. I missed that exit a long time ago. So that doesn't apply to me. Boy, do I got good news for you today. This is an invitation open to everyone. Nobody's too far away. God is so much closer than you even realize. All you got to do is make a move. You just got to move toward Jesus. And he says, I promise you, I will move toward you. Amen. There's actually a couple here at New Hills. Their lives were going in a direction that wasn't exactly life-giving. Let's put it that way. And it was exactly 1 year ago when they came into this room for the very first time. And they actually wanted to take some time to share their story, so check out the screens.
I'm Jill. This is my husband, Kevin. We have a 5-year-old son named Finn, who starts kindergarten this year. He's got lots of energy, keeps us on our toes all of the time. We've been married for 8 years, and we're here in the Thornton area.
She was the prettiest girl in the office. So, and honestly, I think she's the prettiest girl in any office, you know? So that was, you know, the attraction was there.
He treated me and treats me like a princess, and that is the one thing that, you know, growing up I always said, I'm gonna have a man that treats me like a princess, and I very much lucked out with that. Just felt loved almost immediately, and it just made it very comfortable.
When COVID happened, we were working at home together. We had just had Finn, and he was a newborn, and that was a lot of time around each other. And, you know, something, you know, about me that I struggle with is alcoholism. So, you know, in that time, you know, and being around each other so much and struggling with an addiction like that, I found myself hiding a lot of stuff. I started feeling like a lot of shame and guilt on how I was feeling with like a lot of things, which only just led to more drinking. You know, it kind of became this thing is the problem is the solution's the problem, and things really started spiraling for me.
It was a complete shift in how I felt toward him, how I felt toward, okay, this is not just drinking, there's a problem here. But I felt very, very lost, very, very lost. I felt alone, and it was hard. There was definitely a point where I was ready to leave him. I didn't want to, it's not something that you necessarily want to do, but I was very fed up, being in a relationship with someone who has an addiction. I felt so lost and so confused. I mean, we were literally in the car on the way to our anniversary dinner last year, and I told him, I was like, let's just call it what it is. Like, I don't think we can get better from here. Like, let's just call it.
It was, address this addiction or I'm going. And that's what I needed to get into therapy. That's what I needed to get into AA.
And we had talked about, we should look for a church, because he was, again, his faith was really starting to grow through AA. We're like, yeah, let's find. I actually literally posted on Nextdoor, like, hey, looking for a church, because it's hard to find one. Check the mail. Here's this flyer that literally on the front of the flyer, big bounce house, and our 3-year-old at the time loves bounce castles. So we're like, oh, well, this is church. We pull in, okay, new visitor parking, so we park, right up front. Felt, okay, we're going to church, we're doing this thing. So we walk in and immediately, hi, everyone's super nice. Oh, hi. It was just immediate, like, this was meant to be.
The sermon that day was touched on addiction and family, and we both were brought to tears. We both were sitting there crying, probably because a lot of pent up things in a few words brought that out of us. So I was like, okay, next Sunday we try it again. Same type of deal. Walk in, not feeling the best, leave feeling better. Sermon that day, whatever it was, it's like, that was written like exactly for me. Like, this is like, how is this happening? Go, come back again and again. Weeks became months, months became the year. And it was just always this feeling of like, you walk in and it was like, they knew exactly what I was going through that day and I needed to hear that. How do they do that?
It's still a work in progress. Every day, it takes work, it takes effort. It is not, God cures us. Like, he cures us for sure, but it's not, it's a wrap, happy ever after. It is still work. It is different work. It's hard, but it's a different kind of hard.
The love started coming from both ways instead of, and the work for it became less. And it wasn't just all this trying to get that, it just became love again. And I've learned so much in this past year is showing up, it's half the battle. And it leads to things. And we showed up, and things were, fixed that day, but things got a ton better.
If you are in a season where you're suffering, where you feel a lot of pain, despair, hopeless, seek God in prayer and know that there will be roadblocks. It is going to get harder. And honestly, for me, that's when I know it's working. That's when I know I'm doing the right thing. When there's more challenges, when there's more roadblocks, when I think the path is clear and then it's not, that's when I know to press forward. That's when I know to keep doing what I'm doing. This is not the time to step back. This is not God punishing me. That is the enemy stepping in and trying to ruin the work that God is trying to do. If there's a roadblock, you're doing the right thing. You're going the right direction, and to keep pushing forward.
God definitely will meet you where you're at. God will be what you need to be, but you have to. You have to be open, and you have to move toward him.
Just love that story. And when I first approached Kevin and Jill about maybe sharing their story, their first response was, Absolutely, Brian. If there's anything about our journey that could encourage anybody to give them hope, we want to share it. But then they kind of pushed back a little bit. They said, but Brian, we are still very much in process. We are still figuring a lot of things out. And I was like, guys, that's why you are perfect for this. Because guys, you see, Kevin and Jill, they haven't arrived. They haven't reached their destination, but you know what they started doing? They started moving. They started moving toward Jesus. And now he has them on the path, this path of life. And I love what Jill said. Yes, she's like, yes, it's still hard, but it's a different kind of hard. Because now we're moving forward together. Our family is moving toward God. And church, this is just something to celebrate. As of this summer, Kevin hit 1 year of sobriety and is still going strong today. Come on. And it's just the cherry on top. He's getting baptized today too, everybody. So come on. So I have a question for you today. What direction is your life moving in? Maybe some of us, you're like, Brian, yeah, there are some areas in my life that are not quite moving in the right direction. I'll tell you right now, it happens to all of us. And sometimes, again, we think, well, man, I've missed it. That exit passed me a long time ago, and I'm telling you, no, you have not. The invitation is still open. God is so much closer than you even know. God has good plans for you. He wants to get you on his paths. He wants to give you some living water. But there's even probably some of us here today where you're like, you know what, I feel like I'm moving in a pretty good direction. I got that figured out. Can I tell you right now, don't you dare stop there. Don't you dare settle in. God has so much more ahead of you on this path. He's got places he wants to take you. So I just wonder what could happen if we all just decided right now that we are going to move in God's direction this fall. That we're going to move toward him and see him move toward us. And that is exactly why we do so many of the things we do here at New Hills. It's to help you get closer to Jesus and experience life in him. So we have so many things that are even just starting this month. So even here in September, our men's ministry Forge is going to be kicking off. Such a great opportunity to come in, meet some other guys, go on the journey together. We make it very easy just to come in, even if you're brand new. But even the women's ministry doing the same thing, Sisterhood. They are going to be gathering here very soon. Great way to meet some other ladies, make it very easy to come in. And even now, all across different cities, all around this church, there are going to be groups launching in family rooms and living rooms and coffee shops where you get a chance just to connect and meet some other people. And you have no idea who God may put in your life that can change your whole trajectory. And on top of that, I know maybe some of those things feel like a stretch. You're like, whoa, Brian, I'm new here. That feels like a little much just to get started with. Well, okay, we actually have a thing we call our welcome party. We offer this every couple weeks at the church, and this is meant just to be an easy come, just intimate environment where you get to meet me, some of the other staff, and really what we want to do is share our heart for what we would love to see God do in your life and how New Hills can be a part of that. It's a free catered meal. We take care of the kids for free. It's just a great night. And the next one is actually on September 28th, right at 5 o'clock here at the church. Would love to have you there. But even for all of us, guys, this is an invitation to everybody right now. Next week, we're going to be starting our brand new fall series we are simply calling Thrive. And we're talking about how there are ways for you to thrive in your everyday life. There are principles and practices you can implement. We're going to be talking everything from family to sex to dealing with crazy people in your life to navigating all the daily stresses. And so if you have any questions, you want to take any steps today, we have it all available. Find somebody with a blue shirt. You'll see it says Team Hills right on it. People got lanyards, there's tables. All of it's right there in the cafe and outside. Please get signed up. But see, you make the move, and God promises, I will move toward you. You just got to move toward me, and I will get close to you. And guys, there is one huge move that we are going to be celebrating today. Today, we are celebrating baptism in this church, and this is a huge deal. This is a big, big deal for us because so many people already have, and a lot of you guys in this room, in just a minute or so, you are going to go public in your commitment to Jesus. You're going to be telling the world that I put my full faith and trust in him. And maybe for some of us in here, you're not super familiar with the baptism thing. Paul in the New Testament kind of explains it here in Romans 6. He says, for we died, and we're buried with Christ by baptism. And just as Christ was raised from the dead by the glorious power of the Father, now we also may live new lives. And so Paul is talking about the powerful symbolism behind baptism. Because if you've ever seen one, it's actually pretty simple. You actually just get placed under the water. But that's powerful because you're saying two things right there. You're saying, number one, I believe that Jesus died for me. He died for my sin on my behalf. But at the same time, you know what you're also saying? I am now dying, figuratively speaking, to my old life. I'm leaving it behind. Those old plans, going my own way, I'm leaving it in the grave. But then you get pulled out of that water and you were saying, I believe that Jesus rose from the dead for me. He has defeated sin and death once and for all. And that is a moment. And you are also saying with yourself, I am coming alive to a new life. I'm coming alive to the life that God has for me. I'm coming alive to his plans and his purposes. And the whole reason this is done in water is it is a powerful symbol of Jesus washing you clean of all of your sin once and for all. It's living water. And so it takes about 3 seconds, but it is powerful. It is life-changing. It is one of the biggest moments in your entire life. And there's a lot of us in here today. You thought you were coming to church today. But God has you here because he wants you to make a move. And he wants you to make a move toward him through baptism. And I know immediately, right when I say that, some of you guys are like, whoa, what's he starting to talk about right now? Oh, I'm serious. I'm talking about you. And you're probably in here, some of you guys, you've been a Christian for a long time. And you've just never done this. You've never taken the step. This is the move you got to make. Some of us in here, your story's mine. Your parents had you baptized as a baby. You don't remember it. And again, that's not a bad thing. We're not mad about it. But God wants this to be your move. It has to be your decision that you make. And you know, I hear this all the time from people when I talk about getting baptized. They're like, well, hold up, Brian. There is still a lot that I need to clean up in my life. And I'm telling you, that's the whole point. You don't clean yourself up. Jesus cleans you up. That's the whole point of this. That's why this is so amazing. And so, I know some of you, you're like, yes, maybe I should do that, but I'm feeling a little nervous. Like, man, I would have wore a totally different outfit. I would have done my hair differently. Like, I am not ready for this, Brian. We knew you wouldn't come prepared. We knew you wouldn't. So we actually prepared for you. Outside, we have tons and tons of baptism kits already ready. We have every size pair of shorts you could possibly imagine, dark shorts. We have every size shirt you could possibly imagine that you would ever need, dark shirts. We have towels. We have changing areas all prepared for you. We have everything you need to make this happen today. And on top of that, we have photography right on site. You're gonna get these beautiful professional pictures of your baptism you can share with any family or friends for the rest of your life. And I love the way we do baptism here, guys, because you can bring anyone in the water with you that you want. And so you might even be a little nervous right now. You're like, oh man, I don't wanna do this thing alone. I'll tell you, if you're here with a friend, a family member, say, will you just come with me? I don't wanna do this myself. Can you come in the water and be a part of my baptism? Yes, we'll put anybody in there with you. We would love for that to be the case. Now, even with all those reasons, some of you guys are still hesitating. You're not totally sure if you're sold yet. And there's actually some people who were in your exact position right at this moment last year, and they actually wanted to share something with you. Check out this video.
Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Berry, and today marks my 1 year since I've been baptized. And I still remember that incredible moment of just this feeling of connection and love and just release all at once. That moment wasn't just a symbolic moment for me. It marked a new beginning of a deeper journey with Christ. Over the past year, my faith has grown in ways I never expected. My prayer life has grown so much stronger. My understanding of God's words have grown deeper. And while I still face some challenges as a mom, with some anxiety and just learning to let things go, my faith has helped me handle life's ups and downs with more peace, and I've learned to walk through life with Christ leading the way.
Hey there, my name's Ogden and I was baptized at last year's fall kickoff, and since then, God has really taken me by the hand. He's given me tools that I need to be a more effective husband and father here at home. He's given me the wisdom and the courage that I need at work
Church, I'm Allie, and I'm just here to remind you of my story. And my story is that baptism didn't just change my relationship with God. It changed the way that I see myself. It changed the way that I treat others and how I just live day to day. Most importantly, it reminded me that I'm not alone and that grace is real. It's real, y'all. And so all I gotta say is, what are you waiting for? Let's go get you baptized.
I love it. So you have an opportunity right now. I promise you, you do not want to miss this. So if there's something in you that says, man, I want the living water. I want the good stuff. I want it to overflow into my life. You have an opportunity to move toward God right now, today. And so if you just sense that this is for you, this is your moment, I'm going to dismiss in under a minute. And right when I dismiss, you head right out through these doors. There's a big white tent right outside. Our team has everything you need. You tell them the sizes you need, the things you need. They get you the bag, they'll point you right to the changing area. We will make this happen today. And I promise you, you will never regret it. And for everybody here, guys, we're about to have a party as a church. And so I want to encourage everybody, you stay after, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great. You stay after. Sign up for some of the groups, men's ministry, women's ministry. We have all the things going on. Get committed to one of these things. It could change your life this fall. But church, let's cheer some people on today. And I want to give everybody a little preview. Church, what is every single person going to hear right when they come out of that water after their baptism? What are they going to hear? Yes. That's what you're going to hear. You're going to have a crowd of people cheering you on. So I'm going to count to 3, everybody. When I get to 3, we're going to stand up, and I want to challenge some of us. You get moving. You make that move toward Jesus. It will change your life forever. So you guys ready for this? 1, today is your day. You will never regret this. 2, you might be a little scared right now. Don't you dare let that stop you. And church, 3, come on, let's stand up. Let's make a move. Let's see God move in this place today. Let's party.